It is halftime in Portland. The Kings down 54-50. Ryan in Sacktown, joined by Mr. Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, physical first half of basketball there in Portland.
Yeah, the officials letting them play a little bit, which I like. I mean, they're it's both ways. I can't say, certainly baskets at the rim are being challenged and not giving away many free throws as it's just pretty good defensive effort. I think. I've liked the speed and the pace of the game. I think
Agree.
the thing that's interesting to me is that both teams really want to play the same way.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that Portland has been better in the first half. I mean, and both teams are sloppy with the ball. They've turned it over too much, both teams. But Portland has pushed the pace very well, and their spacing has been much better. They've got better pacing and better ball movement than the Kings.
It's a great point. 11 points off of 11 Portland turnovers for the Kings. We're going to talk about the offense in a second, but I do want to talk about the defense first, Jerry. A term that they're using on the broadcast a lot is the drop, meaning the guard at the top guarding a player on the perimeter is dropping down to help in the post. Jerry, it feels like Portland's walking into a lot of wide open threes in situations where it doesn't seem the Kings should really be dropping down to help. What's your take on that?
Well, that would be my take. I mean, there's guys in the post you don't need to help on.
Yeah.
And especially in there's the rule I've always thought is like, okay, help if you, as long as you can get back, but
right.
Don't and it's got to be it's got to be a hard help and a hard get back, and we're seeing kind of the slow help, and then now all of a sudden you can't get back.
And in some way,
and yeah, it's just too much of it. I think I'm with you there. I mean, be selective on when you're helping, not just anybody.
Yeah, and in some ways, they're leaving the more skilled and talented player on the perimeter to help somebody in the post that's not as big of a threat in the post.
Well, and really, when you think about it, that's probably their offensive. That's what they want. In other words, they're saying, boy, if we can draw a double down here, we can kick it out to our shooters. It's because the guy we're trying to draw a double with really has no real post move in some cases.
So true.
So you really just don't need to well, like I say, so being selective is a lot more important. I always say it's like you see the high screen rolls. Well, and some guys go under them because they're not going to shoot over the top off the dribble. Why get hooked up on
Amen.
a screen?
Exactly right. The Kings down 4, second night of a back-to-back to Portland. Portland's won 9 of 10. In those last 10 games, they are holding teams to only 102 points. They're on track for that. Let's turn to the offensive side of the ball. The Kings have 16 field goals and 10 assists, Jerry, but in some ways it feels like it's a lot of individual basketball out there. What do the Kings need to do to start moving the ball and playing more like a team?
Well, that's it. Number one, move the ball and play like a team. Get better spacing and really try to eliminate some of the extra dribbles. I mean, if you don't have anything, catch it, move it. Catch it, move it, cut. Catch it, move it, cut. Obviously, use the dribble to go somewhere, not just to see if the air's in there. I mean, I think sometimes, yeah, it's got air. You don't have to check it every time. But I like I say the actual move the ball and cut to the basket. We haven't seen very much of that, and I think that we're seeing a little too much of the catch it, put it on the floor immediately before you even know what you got, and that makes you easy to
yeah, it's a great
with.
point. Jerry joining us here at the half. Grant's voice is on rest management. He wants to make sure he has enough volume to yell at everybody on the post game show, so he will be back.
Yeah, he needs to ration that because he's got some yelling to do. That's our Grant. That's what
I would imagine you're the only one that he probably does not yell at. He would not take that liberty.
No, he's I have to say he's always been very, very kind. He'll make fun of me a little bit, but of course he knows even as old and crotchety as I might jump on him too. So
come at him like a spider monkey.
I'll be like, Yeah, like Talladega Nights. I've been on him like
I
Spider-Man.
can't believe you know that. That is awesome.
Oh, I all time one of my all-time
I
favorites, man.
love it. I love it. Malik Monk, 13 points there in the first half. Keegan Murray sighting, scoring 12 points. Jerry, that shot looks like it has some more arc on it.
Yeah, it looks much better, and he's released a little quicker. I really hope the guys find him a little more. I mean that because Keegan just isn't the kind of guy to force shots, and so I think that's very important to make sure he's involved every half. And but he's been very good.
Jonas Valanciunas, first game for the Kings, and he was not shy. And Jerry, he had some good looks.
Had some good looks. He's going to make those shots. He's a good player. It's like Katie was talking about. I mean, this guy would be a starting center on most teams in the league, or a lot of teams in the
Yeah.
league still. So the key to me is he's going to get better, just like Levine's going to get better, and Ravi when he figures it out. But man, Coach Christie's got a tough assignment. He's got 3 guys that need to play, and how are you going to play them all, or what's the best way to play? It may be that really the offensive scheme, the defensive schemes that have been in place may not be the best going
Sure,
forward.
absolutely. And we talked about this a little bit earlier on the 4 o'clock show, but I'm going to ask you again here. What's the time frame that you'd like to see Coach Christie kind of get an idea for that group in the rotation going into the All-Star break?
Well, I think it's going to be probably to the All-Star break should have enough games to kind of get in mind, and then whatever changes, to the rotation or how he wants to use it, offensive, defensive schemes, what changes he'd make. He'd have a little extra practice time once they come back to maybe implement that. But it's awfully tough now. I mean, they can start thinking about it, but it's just 3 guys, and all of a sudden, and you're trying to figure out how to play them. It's
Yeah,
not
and
easy.
like you said, very little practice time right now between the schedule, home, road. They're jumping around a lot. Jerry, Zach LaVine, 3 of 9. To me, he doesn't look super comfortable, and I feel like Coach Christie's got to draw up a way to get him involved. What are your thoughts on him so far?
Yeah, well, he's been guilty of forcing some things because I don't think he is comfortable, as you pointed out. I mean, he's the kind of guy that can usually get open pretty easy, but we haven't seen that. Several of his shots have been very difficult, and credit Portland's defense to some
Sure.
degree around the rim. They've been very active. So, but you're right. I mean, he needs to really be able to find some comfort zones where he knows he can get open looks, and right now it doesn't look like that's
Yeah,
there.
Domantas Sabonis, story after story after story of game after game after game. Only 7 points, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds. But Jerry, this team, where would they be without this guy?
Well, they'd be at the very bottom of the league, probably. I mean, the thing with Domas, it's just all effort. I mean, he's got his 7 points on maybe one or two field
4
goal
attempts.
attempts.
And think about how much he's been fouled too. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but that's what he gives you. The unselfishness. He's, the one guy really does want to get the ball moving and get everybody involved, and so, that's the encouraging thing. You can see how Coach Christie in time can maybe get everything smoothed out a little bit with spacing, make sure that maybe Monk gets it to him a little quicker, a little less dribbling, gets a little more movement, and maybe here again with Valanciunas, I think some
Yep.
high-low action, playing both those guys together. Get some big boys
Jerry, I
out
think
there.
you just hit the nail on the key. The high low, absolutely. But the movement, when Valanciunas was on the floor and he was getting the ball on the post, you've got 4 guys standing around and just watching. The Kings have got to be more active like they were at start the game in the first quarter.
Yeah, and then all they have to do is kind of that's one thing about Portland doing a
Yeah,
great
I
job,
agree.
I think. Of the ball's moving great. You're seeing cutters. Uh, so just Kings do a little more of that, then they can get the win. But if they don't, I mean, the pace of the game is it's exactly the pace. I'm just not sure right now which team is best at it. I guess we'll find out.
Yes, we will. Kings down 4 in Portland. It's such an important game, Jerry, because this one is
Oh,
going to decide whether they're game over or under 500 in a brutal Western Conference.
yeah, you just can't afford to lose games. I mean, obviously, Dallas had a big win tonight, even without Anthony Davis. Uh, so, that's a competitor. I mean, obviously, the Kings and Warriors are very much in the same boat. And I know the Warriors were struggling. Uh, but, man, you get behind the eight ball. I mean, you can go from contending for the sixth spot to being 12th. It's pretty easy. It
Yeah.
doesn't take much difference. So wins are important, and certainly this was one when the season started. You kind of had penciled in as a win.
What is it about playing in Portland? It seems so many times these games are just tough. It's you got a lot of Kings fans that make the trip. You've called a number of games, a ton of games there. What is it about the Rose Garden?
Well, I don't think it's the Rose Garden. I think
The
over the
Moda
years,
Center.
well, Moda Center, but over the years they've really been good. Now, recently they haven't, but that's been a recent phenomenon. I mean, when you go back over the last 30 years, I mean, I'd say they've been a playoff team probably 80-90% of the time.
Yeah.
Their down times have been very little. Now, they're just coming out of one of those down times. But that's the biggest problem. I always remember people saying, boy, it's, back in the old days, it's like, boy, the Kings really seem to have a tough time winning at the Forum. I said, it ain't the Forum, it's Magic and Jabbar and those guys. Forum don't guard anybody. So,
So true. So true. Okay, so it's that time. We're going to ask everybody watching in the chat, put your final scores in. I want to get some keys from Jerry. I'm going to give mine first. The Kings bench outscored 8-19. You've got some more firepower there. Trey Lyles had some really good looks. I think the Kings bench is going to definitely have to pick it up. Jerry, what is your keys to the second half?
I think it's turnovers. I think the Kings have really got to, force more turnovers. This is a pace game where you need more ball pressure. Haven't seen enough of it, and Kings take better care of the ball. I think if they can really win the battle of turnovers by 5 or 6, I think they'll have a great chance to win.
Like it. All right. Flores says 116, 111 Kings. Your casual 113, 108. Jerry, we both felt like the Kings were going to win last night. I will go first. I won't put you on the spot.
Okay.
I do think the Kings win this game. I think they're going to figure out a little bit more offensively. I think they're going to zone Portland a little bit more here in the second half. I think the pace remains. I'm going to say 109 to 106. Jerry?
Kings 107, 105. And
All
I
right.
agree with you. I think we'll see a little more zone. I think hopefully we'll see a little less helping back and leaving 3-point shooters open. So I think scoring might get a little tougher for both teams.
I love it. Jerry, thanks for pulling a double day with us today. We so appreciate it.
Hey, man, anything for you, Rhino. Man, you get me fired up, buddy.
Hey, yeah. Hell yeah. I got to get you your beam, man.
Yeah, I need some beam, man. This is getting old. I mean, so you and Grant have got to get the job done.
We can't have another post game like last
tell old Croupy to get his game back on.
I will do that. Jerry, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the game, buddy.
All right. See you guys.
All right. That is Jerry Reynolds. It is such a pleasure. We are so lucky. All of us are lucky to spend halftime with him. Here's an interesting stat from the first half. Points in the paint, only 18 to 16. Now that just changed, 18 to 14. Second half just got underway. So we'll send you out. Do not forget, post game, Grant will be here. He's saving his voice just for all of you. We will see you at the end of this one. Jerry and I both have the Kings winning. Go Kings, light the damn beam. We'll see you right after with your calls.